This is Module 8 on Resource Description and Access, or RDA. RDA is also a relatively new concept. It came on the scene along with FRBR, Functional Requirements for Bibliographic Records, and both of these concepts were introduced in order to bring catalogs and cataloging standards into the 21st century. RDA, Resource Description and Access, are international guidelines for describing bibliographic records. RDA is governed by IFLA, the International Federation of Library Associations, and it's basically a rule book for global library catalogs. And as we talked about before, library catalogs are increasingly globalized, one of the most globalized public resources that we have. RDA is really based on AAC R2R, the Anglo-American Cataloging Rules, but have additions and modifications to accommodate for electronic media and presenting information in multiple language formats. RDA has some basic concepts that we need to understand. First of all, there's 4 types of items in RDA. One type is a single unit, issued as a single logical unit, such as a book or DVD. So if we're in a library, the physical items that are in the library generally are single units, unless they're a magazine or some other kind of serial. If the item is issued in 2 or more parts, such as an encyclopedia, then it is a multi-part monograph. If an item is issued in successive parts, such as a magazine or a journal, then it's a serial. And if it's an electronic resource, such as a website that is changed and updated regularly, then it is an integrating resource. So very simply, books, DVDs, those kinds of things are single units. Encyclopedias and multi-volume sets are more or less multi-part monographs. Journals, magazines are serials, and any kind of electronic resource that is updated regularly is an integrating resource. Now, if you have an online journal that is issued in the same way that print journals are, then you have a serial. So please keep those distinctions in mind. Also, if you have an electronic ebook that is issued in as one complete item, then you have a single unit. So not all electronic resources are going to be integrating resources. It's only if they're like websites that are changed or updated regularly. Now, after the items, RDA has some core elements. RDA are really the rules that are used when you're entering information into the catalog to describe the item. So RDA really governs how the title is presented, the information that you present about the author, the information about the extent or the physical description of the item, the publication and location information about the item. So RDA has some core elements and rules to follow. First of all, when you have the title of an item, the title proper is always transcribed from the item. So some titles for Alice in Wonderland are just Alice in Wonderland. Some titles are Alice in Wonderland Through the Looking Glass. Some titles are Alice in Wonderland Through the Looking Glass and What Alice Found There. So you need to look at the item itself to know what title to put into the catalog record. And then there is the author or statement of responsibility that is also transcribed from the item. So when you're doing the first line in a catalog in terms of author and statement of responsibility, you transcribe the title and the author as it is represented on the item. Then you include edition information or revised edition. You transcribe that from the item itself as well. If there's no edition information, then you do not include it. Also, in terms of publication, you put the first place of publication, the publisher's name, and the date of publication. And then in terms of numbers, you always must include a standard number for the manifestation, and that will typically be the ISBN number, the publisher number, the Library of Congress control number. There's usually some kind of standard number that's related to an item at the manifestation level. Then also what's new in RDA is that you need to include the content type, the media type, and the carrier type, because there's so many different formats available now for catalogs items. So the content, media, and carrier type describe what's in the item, how is it viewed or listened to, and how can users access it. And also you need to include the extent or physical description of the item. And all of this information is in the RDA book, which is hundreds and hundreds of pages, so I'm trying to condense that information into very specific rules. So the core elements for RDA is the title, the author, the edition, the publication information, the standard number, the content, media, and carrier type, and the extent or physical description of the item. Now, these core elements replace what were usually referred to as the 8 areas of description in AAC R2R. Now, here are some more guidelines for the RDA core elements. Number 1, in the author information, use the authorized information and put them in the format last name, first name, birth date. And you can get authorized author information from the Library of Congress personal name headings. And we'll go through some examples so you can understand how these tools are used. Also, for the title and statement of responsibility, you transcribe the title information as it appears from the item. You capitalize only the first letter of the title statement unless proper nouns are used in the title. You separate the title and statement of responsibility areas with a space/space. You transcribe the statement of responsibility as it appears on the items, including words such as created by, illustrated by, or by. And you include the people listed up to 3 people, and note others in brackets if there's more than 3 people. For the edition information, you transcribe the publication location, the publisher or producer, and date of publication from the source on the information. And you include edition information and publication information if there are more than one listed on the item. You use RDA accepted abbreviations for states and provinces, and you transcribe the edition statement as city of publication, comma, state abbreviation, space, semicolon, space, the publisher, and the date. You do not need to include the state if it's in New York or Chicago or London, those basic cities where everybody knows where they are. Any information that is not included on the source of information but that is known, you include in brackets, such as a publication date. And here are additional guidelines for RDA core elements. For the extent or physical description and content, media, and carrier type, you derive the extent information from the item itself. You record the extent information using RDA terminology and punctuation, and you record the dimensions of the items in centimeters by height and width. For the series area, you record the series information from the series title page and capitalize only the first word in the series title, and record the numbering of the series as it appears on the source of information. For the notes area, you include information for notes, and that can come from any area and pertain to additional title information. And then for the resource identifier, record the resource identifier as it appears from the item, and include item identifiers such as the International Series serial number or the International Standard book number. And so here is an example of a catalog record done in RDA format. And the core required areas are highlighted in green, and the rest are typical catalog information that you would include. So the core elements are the title, the author and statement of responsibility, the edition information, the publication information, the standard number, the content, media, and carrier type, and the extent or physical description. So for here, the title and statement of responsibility is Texas Beyond History. The sub title is always space: the Virtual Museum of Texas's Cultural Heritage. Notice that the only word that is capitalized is the first word in the title statement and any proper nouns. Then the statement of responsibility created by the Texas Archaeological Research Laboratory and the Department of Anthropology, Texas State University, in partnership with the Council of Texas Archaeologists and 15 other organizations. And notice again that it's the first word in that statement of responsibility and then also proper nouns. Publisher information: Austin, Texas, University of Texas at Austin, College of Liberal Arts, and 2001 is in brackets because it's known but it's not listed on the item. This is an online resource, so that's the extent or physical description of the item. If it had illustrations, we would add that to the extent, but it does not. The content type is text, pure text. The content type is a cartographic image, and the content type is also still image. The media type is computer. The carrier type is online resource. And then you can include notes information such as the publication date, the viewing date, and notes about what the intellectual contents of the item are. The subject headings you will get from Sears most often, or Library of Congress, and so the subject heading here is Archaeology with a geographic subheading of Texas. Subject 2 is the uniform name of the institution. Two of the institutions, one is Texas Archaeological Research Laboratory, and the next one is University of Texas at Austin, and then the 856 tag, access to file. So there's one RDA catalog example. Here is another one. This is a simpler record and is a television show. And the main title and statement of responsibility is For Whom the Bell Tolls, the Spanish Civil War. Notice again, only the first word is capitalized. And then we have a subtitle that is separated by space: space. Then we have the statement of responsibility produced by the Hoover Institution and KTEH, San Jose Public Television, director Paul Marca. It was published in Stanford, California. Notice the state abbreviation, Hoover Institution, with a copyright date of 2000. If it's a copyrighted title, you include the copyright symbol. If it doesn't say copyrighted, then you do not include the copyright date. This is also an online resource. It is a streaming video. It's 26 minutes, 52 seconds, digital, and the file format, sound, and color. The media type is video. The carrier type is an online resource. The content type is a moving image. It comes from the Uncommon Knowledge series, volume 426. The title is from the transcript page, the viewing date, and a streaming video file. Then it also has notes about the panelists who are discussing the continuing debate over the Spanish Civil War. Subject headings are Spain, history, Civil War, another subject heading of philosophy, and then the 856 tag that contains the media website for where to access this item. So the core RDA elements in this are, again, the title and the statement of responsibility, the addition statement, the publication statement, the identifying number, and for this item there is no identifying number, the content, media, and carrier type, and the extent or physical description. So in terms of RDA elements, remember that catalog records have required areas of description that must be described in the record. The title, the author and statement of responsibility, edition information, publication information, the identifying number, the content, media, and carrier type, and the extent or physical description. And these core elements correspond to Cutter's principles for how items in a catalog should be described for access. For example, by how the author, title, and subject are known, the edition and character of the item, and the item's format. So catalog records will have at least two more required areas, which include the barcode number and the call number, subject headings such as Library of Congress or Sears, and then notes. Notes are very useful in catalog records because OPACs typically search notes area looking for significant keywords. Our practice cataloging exercises that we will do in this class will use RDA core elements plus additional information. You will be provided with online work forms and guidance, so please do not be alarmed at the complexity of creating these records, because you will be provided with a very safe learning experience for cataloging. For more information about resource description and access, there is the 2009 draft version that is available from this link and also in the external resources area. Again, we will be working some examples so you can start to learn how you use RDA to catalog items, but if you have questions, please refer to the module materials and then post questions to the discussion board if you have them.